3, 2, 1.
Yes, but you want to know, don't you, dude, why we keep coming here? To Bay, right? This is Michael. Welcome to Baycast, and we're going to be doing our final Transformers review.
Finally.
Can't believe that.
I'm your co-host, Jacob, and we are joined by a very special guest, Matt, who was with us during the first Transformers episode. So, first and last. How you doing today, Matt?
Hey.
Yes, tonight I'm your COVID host. This movie has given me COVID-19.
Happens. This movie gave me a lot of things. Maybe a seizure, probably a stroke. It's very strange.
Yeah.
This movie gave me a new outlook on life.
Really?
Yeah, one where you're sick and could possibly, kick the bucket.
Yeah.
Sorry, I won't say it.
It's not an outlook. That's not an outlook on life.
Okay.
Outlook
okay.
on life. As
if
in,
I watched Age of Extinction, I would have picked the bucket.
I've reevaluated how movies can be edited. Because of this film.
What is there to say about this movie? It's terrible. It's really bad.
Preface this. They're all bad. This one is really, really bad. Not really in the fun way that 2 or maybe 3 can be. Not as much in the offensively generic way of 4. In a completely madcap, stream of consciousness manner that I've seen very few movies replicate. Maybe Venom 2.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. Because the pacing of this movie is, unlike, Transformers 4, which just dragged on and on and on. This movie has really fucking quick pacing. It's still pretty boring, but it is very quick, and it just keeps moving at a fucking cheetah's pace. But at the same time, there's so much fucking exposition for several sequels that are never gonna happen that it just feels like an absolute waste of time.
Yeah, pretty much.
I thought what they did with Kylo Ren and Rey was very interesting, and the character they chose to wait. The Last Night. Oh, come on. The Last Night. I took notes for The Last Jedi.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, well, too bad.
I did think the dyad between Cade Yeager and Cogman was pretty interesting to explore. Actually, there is, some bullshit prophecy stuff with Cade, because this movie is called The Last Night. You'd be like, oh, there's some Transformer who's just like the night of
Last Night.
There literally is a part in this movie where it's like, with Cogman, we'll explain who Cogman is. We don't know fully, but we'll explain some of his things. He's like, it's you, Cade. You on the Last Night. I'm like, yo, he fucking said it. It was literally the meme.
I was literally in shock. I was in shock when he said that Cade was the Last Night. Because these movies are supposed to, be big. Or at least the titles are supposed to be these big events that describe the villain or the big plot of the film. But no, which I guess it kind of is. But they're just literally saying that this one character, Cade Yeager, played by Mark Wahlberg, is the titular Last Night. And I was just done when he said that. Oh my god.
That was not that long in the movie. That was halfway through.
Yeah. And I was done after that. Even though I took 2.5 pages of notes. More than that, actually.
I don't even have notes, but I have, as I mentioned last time, a theory. The movie, the writing process was described, where it was Michael Bay pretty much trapped a bunch of writers, 10 or so, in a room with just random shit from the series and said, make up some stories. Some of those could be used for this, and others could be repurposed for theoretical and thankfully unmade later movies. However, that doesn't feel like what happened. What feels like it happened is Michael Bay had an idea for a post-apocalyptic Transformers movie as a sequel to 4. But then some guy, one of those 15 writers, went, Mike, I got this awesome script for this movie about the legacy of King Arthur and about this woman in modern day learning about her place in the mythology. Michael Bay's like, great, that's the plot now. A third of the way through shooting the movie.
It does seem like that. Oh my god, you're right. That makes so much more sense.
If you remove the Transformers besides Cogman, literally nothing changes.
Isn't it weird how Cogman is the Transformer that has the most screen time in this movie?
He probably has the most screen time of any of the movies.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
He's probably like. He's not even a fucking Transformer, really. He was supposed to be.
He doesn't transform.
He was supposed to just go in. This movie is fucking insane. We're gonna be insane talking about it. Random topic. Cogman, like one of the main characters, insane robot butler steampunk man. Where did he come from? No one knows. What did he turn into? He's supposed to turn into a head for a larger robot body from the series called Headmasters. They call him a headmaster in this movie. Anthony Hopkins is like this is Cogman. He's a headmaster. If you don't know anything about Transformers, which I'm guessing neither of you know that much about Headmasters, you're like, what the fuck does he mean? But it was supposed to be in the end of the movie, he takes over someone's body, and he was supposed to, like, one of the 7 cars that they find, like the decoy cars that Anthony Hopkins sets up strategically around England, was supposed to be a body for him.
Huh.
They cut out the point of his character, which is to be like a reference to something in Transformers.
Huh. That's
fucking
unique.
It's, like, why would you even?
And
they left in the line about him being. It's like, imagine if you're watching the first Transformers, and they say like, Autobot Jazz can control human minds, and they never does it. Like it's just like, why mention something so fucking absurd and weird and then never do anything with it? Not even like reference it again. I guess to start, I said this movie's pretty much 2 or 3 movies, so I think we should start with the first movie, which is the Junkyard Apocalypse. It feels the closest to the 4th movie,
right?
For better, for worse. But
I think
at least it is consistent.
Yeah, I think what you said before, a post-apocalyptic Transformers movie might be a pretty decent idea because it would cut out a lot of the bullshit and just kind of make it more so about the Transformers and, like, I guess K2, whatever, and like their need to survive. But yeah, that's not really the movie. It's part of it, or it's not really post-apocalyptic. I don't know. It's weird. But anyway, at that part of the movie, so we find out that obviously Cade's back, and he's still as racist as ever because in the opening scene he's racist against the Native American sheriff. But that's beside the point. He's the chosen one. And we're reintroduced to. Actually, I'm pretty sure all of the Transformers from Extinction are back. And all the dinosaurs, they just came. Which is funny because in 4, like Optimus Prime just pretty much just let them go. But then they all just kind of came back to Cade, and now they're just living in the junkyard with him.
Fucking ridiculous. I mean, this movie is, I said before, but now we can actually go into detail about it. The worst continuity keeping ever. Any movie I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. Worst continuity. Because, like, I don't know. I don't know where to start with the continuity, because we can go to the exposition room, where I literally, during the movie, just went through everything that doesn't make sense. And everything in the junkyard, and everything about Optimus. Almost nothing is actually consistent with the rest of the movie.
I mean, we kind of jumped to, like, the decent part of the way in the movie. Or, like, not decent, like 20 minutes or something. But before that, we find out that when Optimus left Earth in 4 to go find his creator or something, he did, kinda, and when, like, he went to the ruined Cybertron and found...
Didn't he also die?
Jacob, yeah. No, Jacob, he didn't get there. He froze up around Saturn.
Oh, yeah, he did.
He didn't get there. He has, like, an audio recording, like, I am Optimus Prime. I'm finding my creators. On loop in, like, crusty, like, 16-bit game audio as he floats through space. And then he crash lands on quote-unquote Cybertron. And he's... I guess this is the beginning of the movie, pretty much. We might as well go into it. He goes, my world. What have you done to my world? He literally destroyed it in 3.
Right.
To save Earth.
Mm-hmm.
He did this to his world. We were saying, Optimus Prime's a fucking amnesiac in this movie. He literally just forgets shit constantly.
Yeah, that's kind of his character from a lot of the movie, too. Even though he's, like, barely in it for, like, a good chunk of it. That's besides the point.
he's in it less than the fucking green guy. Green guy's not in much either.
Green guy.
I know all of their names, but I'm like this movie.
Which one's green guy? It's not John Goodman's.
There's good green guy. There's evil green guy.
The evil green guy.
Bad guy.
There's 4 green guys in this movie. There's John DiMaggio green guy. There's John Goodman green guy. There's the little motorcycle green guy, and then there's the big green guy.
Good impressions.
I didn't do one for Onslaught. I'm sorry. I really fucking let the ball drop on that one. Let the
Michael Bay
head drop.
should have hired you.
Onslaught's head. But and then he ends up with this humanoid creature that is known as Quintessa, which is clearly meant to be like the Quintessons from the original series, which are the creators of the Transformers. Think about them. They have multiple faces, different personalities that like spin around. It's very surreal, but it's quite interesting. So obviously they made it have one face.
Yeah. What confused me about Quintessa is that I'm pretty sure in 4 they pretty much confirmed that like some like weird alien species created the Transformers, like because like you saw like the hand in like the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, those glass in the dinosaurs.
Even though like it was obviously like an alien like flesh hand. This one like Quintessa was just basically another robot that created Transformers.
Well, that's also in addition to the fact that the first movie said the Allspark made them. Don't forget about that.
Right? Yeah. These movies fucking suck. Oh god.
So we have like, I think in 4 it was supposed to be the actual like original series, not accurate, but like taking more inspiration from them because they were fleshy for the most part. But they're like, nah, we're not committing to that. We're making chick from Eternals a robot now.
Gemma Chan.
By the way, this movie is Eternals.
A little bit.
Because there's a fucking giant robot in the earth.
Yeah.
Is that why Gemma Chan took Eternals? Oh, I was in that movie with the Transformers. I'm going to be this one. It's so many people like it. And both movies suck ass.
Yeah, she has been choosing her roles great as of late, has she? Anyway,
really.
I would like to mention that very beginning of the movie, which so as we previously said, or at least for 3 and 4, these movies have been doing this thing where they rewrite history to include the Transformers. With 3, the moon landing. With 4, the dinosaurs.
All 5 movies do that.
Yeah. Which ones?
All 5 of them. First movie is Hoover Dam and all technology. Second one is the pyramids. Third one is the moon landing. Fourth one is dinosaurs. Fifth one is Arthurian history.
And this one, but with 5, this one like is literally like the actual plot of the movie. So, we start in the Dark Ages with King Arthur and his round table and Merlin, which I should say, this was the part of the movie I enjoyed the most because
it's a real movie.
If Michael Bay actually directed like a medieval epic, I think it would actually be pretty good because actually the movie it looked nice, had good color grading. It kind of reminded me of a mix between like a Ridley Scott and Zack Snyder movie. I think if he actually was able to do a medieval movie, it would actually be pretty good. But he's never gonna do that because he's a dumbass.
I think he wanted to. There's a few movies in this movie I think he wanted to do, but he couldn't. There's that one. There's World War II movie. There's a bunch of little things.
Well, we already saw the World War II movie.
No. I mean another one. like a whatever. But the intro I think is fine. Like, oh, these guys are fighting. They're outnumbered. And then you see Merlin. And when you first see him, you have to ask, is that Stanley Tucci? And then you realize
it's not Stanley Tucci from 4, by the way.
It's not the same character he plays in the last movie. It's a completely different character, but the same actor. Why?
I guess this Stanley Tucci enjoyed working with Michael Bay so much that he was willing to play a completely different character.
And why didn't he just play the character from 4?
Honestly,
he would have been interesting in this movie.
He actually, his character in this reminded me of the character he played in Percy Jackson, The Sea of Monsters. He played Dionysus, I think.
Exactly.
So he played 2 drunk people from myth. So
mythology,
that's pretty interesting.
Some mythology. No, I agree with that. And once he showed up, it became like a Saturday morning cartoon. And then you're reminded of the Transformers movie. Like after the decent mythology movie begins, then he had his staff, and then you realize, oh, it's like a robot staff. Okay, you see this red guy who we call Mr. Red because he doesn't have a fucking name. He doesn't have a fucking name. And it's like, oh, it's a Transformer. He's maybe he's communing with the Transformers to give him, like, that's stupid, but at least I don't know, it's more creative than the rest of the movies. Mm-hmm. But then he moves the staff, and a giant dragon made of paper clips starts rolling around on the battlefield. It's like, what the fuck is this? Wait.
Yeah, I was very confused by that, because we only saw, like, before, like, that happened, we only saw that one Transformer in the cave.
Mr. Red.
Yeah, Mr. Red. And then, as we find out later in the movie, that's basically like the Devastator from Revenge of the Fallen, where it's a bunch of Transformers coming together, but that was not obvious at all in the beginning.
No, it's literally, and it makes no sense. If you look at it, there's no way that's robots. It literally is hollow.
Well, this movie does something. I think like a lot of the Transformers sequels did it, but it's like a way more obvious here. It's pretty much that. Well, actually, this involves a lot of things with the CGI. It's the CGI itself isn't bad necessarily.
It's bad.
I mean, here's what I'm saying. Its integration with the human stuff is really bad. So there's a lot of scenes that either just humans or just Transformers, but they're meant to like be like together. But since they don't know how to like make them work together very well for some reason, they're just two completely different shots. And and also it does a similar thing with transformations because they don't feel like, because it's too much work to actually and money to do the transformations now, I guess, where they'll just transform off screen. There's very few actual transformations in this movie.
They're all the villains. You literally see the fucking Decepticons turn into whatever, whenever, but you don't see the Autobots do that for shit.
Yeah. I think now might be the best time to mention probably the biggest sin in this movie that makes it almost unwatchable.
Yes. Yes. The aspect ratio.
Yeah. I'm not sure how much the other movies did it, but I didn't really notice it that much.
Not much.
In this movie, oh my god. It changes like every fucking shot. It's like it goes from a 4:3 full screen, 4:3 full screen, 4:3, and then like half screen. But yeah. It changes, like, in the action scenes, it just changes so frequently.
It is almost every shot in some sequences. Yep. Dead serious.
I don't know what the fuck he was thinking. I'm assuming, like, he had, like, a bunch of different cameras on set.
And he didn't that.
He didn't realize that the aspect ratios for them were different. So instead of reshooting it or changing it, or changing the other shots to make it so that they fit in that aspect ratio, he just says fuck it and just splices it all together.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah,
it's not as bad. The thing is, the first scene with the knights doesn't have it as much as the rest of the movie. That's why it tricks you. It's probably because he shot that all on IMAX. I know he did.
Yeah, Matt, what do you think of that?
I saw this movie pretty much by accident. I was, this is an anecdote. I normally don't have them, but I do for this. It was summer 2017. I was going to Florida to hang out with some of my cousins and aunts and stuff and go to like Disney, Universal, and whatnot. And I was bored one of the last few days before we left. So I'm like, what can I do? What can I do? Any movies? And I saw, it wasn't just this movie. It was like a special preview showing of this movie. Like a week before it was supposed to come out.
Oh.
I pretty much got an advanced screening of it.
And what do you think of it at the time?
What the hell was that? I mean, even when I was like a young baby boy, I didn't like 4 either. At that point, I still loved 1, 2, and 3, but I didn't like 4. Mm-hmm. But I saw 5 as like this advanced theater showing, which, by the way, I got to see Transformers fans, which is pretty horrifying.
Oh God.
Yeah, like
the worst people.
Yeah, pretty much. But seeing it and watching in the theater, I'm like, what the fuck is the aspect ratio doing? Like when you're watching it at home, it's pretty bad. When you're in a theater, it's revolting.
Oh my God! Am I watching that on a fucking giant screen? I might get a seizure.
And I was closer to the screen than usual that showing, and I just had to look up and just see this fucking movie happening. But the point I brought that up is that there was like a behind the scenes little featurette about the filming of that Arthur scene, which very expectedly was supposed to be a lot longer. They cut it down to bits, and it was shot exclusively in IMAX, which is probably why the camera doesn't do that much, because it's only on one camera in the first place.
Right.
I don't know.
Which scene was this?
The entire first 10, 15 minutes at the knights, the dragon and shit.
I remember.
Yeah, it didn't feel as disjointed as the rest, because it is one story with one camera, which the rest of the movie can't obviously do.
Right. Matt, as someone who is sick, how do you feel about the constant aspect ratio changing?
I feel sick. What
there
kind
you
of
go.
question is that?
You heard it here, folks.
You heard it here first. If you're sick, this movie will make you feel more sick. If you're not sick, it'll make you feel sick anyway.
No, I was feeling fine before I watched this movie.
Yeah, it's just that powerful. So I think we should go into the first movie. Second movie, I guess, if you count the King Arthur movie that we almost got, which is the Junkyard.
Yeah.
Movie starts off. Oh, sorry. I was going to do a little preface. You just perspective shifts. You go from King Arthur and Merlin. I'm like, oh, let's go to Cade Yeager. Boom, fuck you. 5 7-year-old kids. They're like 15, I know, but
yeah. One of them, I recognized the quote unquote main one out of that was, and his name is, and I quote, Benjamin Lil Peanut Flores Jr. I recognize him because he was in like a lot of the Nickelodeon shows that they were like pretty much like the last shows I watched before I stopped watching Nickelodeon. I believe, what are they called? The Haunted Hathaways.
Haunted Hathaways is one of them.
Yeah.
Shit.
And there's another Game Shakers. He's on Game Shakers. That one, I think I watched one episode that night and I just quit because that was when I stopped watching.
His alias is Lil Peanut.
Yeah, Lil Peanut.
Lil Peanut.
He kind of plays like the same, he kind of plays the same character in like all the things I've seen of him. Kind of sassy. Rebellious.
Well, that being Nickelodeon makes sense and interests me because what's her face? Isabella Moner, the new secondary or tertiary protagonist, was obviously in Dora, but she also did a lot of Nickelodeon promotion for the movie. Yes, there were specific Nickelodeon commercials for this movie.
I'm not surprised. How many? Did you think like 8-year-olds were convinced to watch Transformers last night because of Isabella Moner?
There's like a fucking monologue that was cut from the movie about her. Like, yeah, I'm a girl. Yeah, I'm fighting. Like this whole ass fake press marketing thing for this movie, which seems to actively hate women.
Yeah, like this one might be, other than probably 4, might be the one that hates women the most. But actually, one thing I will say, I didn't hate Isabella Mersad's character. I thought she was way better than Kay's daughter in the last movie. But she was barely in it after Cade left for England.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I normally, when I saw the movie, I'm like, oh, she's doing fine. But I just saw Doctor Strange, and I think what's-her-face in that did much better.
Yeah, the actress played Margaret Chavez was very good in that.
Exactly. So I'm like,
watch Doctor Strange 2, by the way. It's very good.
I really wish I could.
Think about it. Just think about Raimi.
I'll think about Doctor Strange.
Think about it really hard.
Manifest it. But yeah, so it begins with these kids. I thought they were on a field trip, but they get out of a school bus and they just walk off to a war zone, essentially.
Yep.
Why? One kid's shirt is basketball is my girlfriend. That got a chuckle out of me. I don't know who was supposed to, but it's supposed to be like a normal thing, but like that's stupid shirt, idiot. But so this kid, I remember I think it was Mr. Sunday Movies review made the connection I never thought of that Isabella in this movie is essentially just bootleg Rey from Star Wars because she's like a scrappy scavenger girl boss with like a robot friend.
Wait, so I did watch the right movie?
Yes, you did.
Yes, you watched Force Awakens.
Actually, I watched 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.
But I don't know. What do you think about that? Because she's meant to be this like scavenger, but she's also like somewhere from 14 to 18. Doesn't seem like you'd be able to survive.
Yeah, I think this says 14. And
there's like Ed 209s everywhere.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of funny how, she basically, as they said, like, her parents were killed in Chicago in Transformers 3. It was Chicago, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
In 3 it was Chicago.
And she's basically just been on her own for the rest of it. She basically made the Transformers her family. So when like this like ugly ass Transformer, I don't remember the name of, died, it was like pretty funny. She was like, no!
Canopy, my beloved. Canopy, if you couldn't tell, which you probably couldn't, is just a reskin version of not only the green dump truck from 2 and 3, but he's also the same model as the green guy, the green truck in this movie. They're reusing models for different characters in the same movie now.
And this movie was the most expensive Transformers movie.
Yeah, really. You couldn't tell with the fucking models. But like all the Decepticons are reused except for Mohawk. We'll get to beautiful, handsome fellow Mohawk later, but that has my favorite scene in the movie. But the Canopy, I also want to know, what would he have turned into? Because he's just a guy with like 800 tons of rocks on his ass. Did he turn into anything?
I don't know. I mean, Optimus Prime might not as well turn into anything in this movie because he literally turned into a truck in the final scene.
Yeah.
Wasn't the plan to have him turn into a school bus?
That would have made sense. There was a lot of concepts for this guy. He was going to turn into a school bus, turn into some sort of boat, I think. They really went off. He was going to be a train car. They went for everything with this guy, and they came up with nothing.
Nope.
But speaking of Transformers, you also introduced the Squeaks, the bootleg R2-D2, BB-8, Dio, motherfucker, blue ugly-ass guy. Was practical. Liked seeing that.
Was nice. It practical? Oh, that's cool.
It was most of it was practical, and that was at the request of the actress who wanted a practical one, which I think paid off because it's the best looking thing in the movie, even though it's ugly as shit because it's real.
Yeah, it is pretty ugly.
But it also it begins and you see it looks kind of like a moped. It's supposed to be a moped, and then it gets half of its arms blown off. It gets half of it blown off, and it's like he can't transform. I have to fix him. He's never fixed. Well, he's kind of fixed, but he never transforms.
Yeah, he has the Decepticon arm.
Something they set up that there's literally no payoff. It's baffling.
Yeah.
But at that point, like 5 Ed 209 show up, and then Cade Yeager shows up, like full mullet, more stubble, edgy clothes, modified non-transformer vehicle, and he has in the last movie he had his sword gun, his iconic sword gun. This movie, he just has normal, like, pistols and rifles that fire transformer bullets.
Yep.
Somehow.
Because he's an inventor.
He's effectively a fucking Marvel character. Except if Marvel was racist.
He's basically a Fast and Furious character.
Honestly, I can see him slotting right into any of those movies.
Yeah. Get Mark Wahlberg in Fast 10, guys. Come on, Vin Diesel.
Yeah. He saves Isabella and the kids. And then you're introduced to, in fact, this is the 4th movie. There's like 18 antagonists in this movie. We're introduced to the first one, which is the TRF, another anti-Transformer kill force, led by Santiago Cabrera, I think his name is. And then you see him, Josh Duhamel, back at last.
Yeah, he's back. This movie, this movie brings back like a lot of, or not a lot, some characters from the first 3 movies.
Almost all of them that are alive.
Yeah, John Turturro's back, but like only in like phone conversations. But like he's really funny in this movie.
Really? I thought he was the least funny part of this movie, and this movie's already not funny.
John Turturro?
I didn't like him in this movie at all.
Really? There's one funny line that I'll talk about later. But yeah.
I'd like to hear your case for that one. But they bring back more Shower. Oh my god, seeing him again, beautiful. Yeah,
so glad more Shower's back. Actually, on my Letterboxd, I have Letterboxd Pro because I'm a fucking chill. He is like, I think he's either my first or second most watched actor of this year, just because of all the Transformers and Michael Bay movies he's in.
I guess so.
Yeah. Glenn Morshower.
You see, Morshower's talking to Duhamel, and they're part of another Extinction Transformers force. Then we see Barricade. Didn't he? You must wonder, didn't he die in 3? Yeah, probably. But he's back, and he looks completely different.
Which one's Carricade again?
He's the blue police car.
Right.
He used to be a black police car. Now he's blue.
Mm.
When you see him, and I don't know why he's here, because he appears and he looks at stuff. He's just kind of snooping. But he has a completely new redesign. But I thought I think it's a good design for these movies. Because they usually just we'll make all the characters just like human men with like some car bits. He actually looked like a transformer. He had like wheels, car parts, and now he had the 2 Punish and Enslave insignia in the other movies. Now he has knuckles that say protect and serve. I like that. I think that's a fun detail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But he has as much to do in this movie as he did in 3, and he only had 3 lines in 3.
There's one thing I want to mention, or I guess there's something I want to mention with Drift. Because in Transformers 4, he was green in that movie. I think he's blue in that movie. And he transformed into a helicopter. In this movie,
Bugatti.
Yeah, in this movie, he's red and he transforms into a regular car. And the only reason they did that is so he didn't go to England with Cade Yeager, and Bumblebee went along somehow. I don't know why, because this was a big plane. That's about the point.
Yeah. Also, not to mention, he's like a black car with blue accents in the first movie, and now he's a red robot that turns into a black car, which shouldn't be possible. The toy is literally all red, but a black car.
Right.
They know how stupid it is. I hope they definitely don't know how stupid, but they at least embraced it for that fucking single toy. But yeah, we get to the junkyard. Cade saves him. The TRF pins down Cade and Bumblebee. Bumblebee transforms, falls to 1,000,000 pieces. What?
Yeah, at first I was like, "Oh, he's dead." Oh, okay.
In these movies, they might as well have killed him.
Yeah.
Well, excuse me. Doesn't he do that in 4?
Nope. He just does this movie. Does it once. Pretty much. Falls apart. Grabs people with his head. He just clinks some dudes in the face. Reconfigures himself. And it's like, oh man, he really showed those guys who's boss. They're all still there, and they're all still pointing guns at them.
Yeah, Bumblebee is very odd in this movie.
He's a funnier character I've ever had. He's the Cage Walters.
Yeah.
He is so all over the place. In 4, he had a different personality, which I hated, but at least it was a personality. This movie, he doesn't have a personality, and he's just gimmicks. All gimmicks.
So, can we talk about how odd, Bumblebee's arc with his voices?
We were getting to the junkyard soon, so we can start that, yeah.
Okay, so in the first movie, obviously, he talked through the radio, which I found out at the time that was like a new thing that Michael Bay added for this movie, which I guess he's influenced his character since then. But anyway, he was talking through the radio, and then one of the other Transformers said that oh yeah, his voice box is busted. I'm trying to get it fixed. So yeah, you assume that it happened somewhat recently, in the events of all of them being together. And then at the end of that movie, he actually talked, even though his voice box wasn't fixed. That's besides the point. And then for the rest of the movies up until now, he just always talked to the radio, even though apparently he could talk at the end of 1, but whatever the fuck. So in this movie, his whole arc, his arc is that he's trying to get his voice fixed, and they make it sound like he hasn't been able to talk for many, many, many years. So that kind of contradicts what happened in 1. And
continuity.
Yeah, fucking shit continuity. And actually, I'll explain how that arc ends when we get to how it's fixed. But point is that they try to fix it, and then it's a text-to-speech thing, and he just rips it out in the junkyard.
Yeah, Steve Buscemi comes in as an unknown character known as Day Trader, some fucking fat bearded guy like Hound, but small. He's like, I don't know, we're pretty much at the junkyard. Cade goes back to the junkyard, and the girl hitches a ride. That's pretty much what happens between what we're talking about now. But
yeah,
the Dinobots are just wrestling. they're fighting over who gets to be the leader, which is Optimus Prime is fucking dead in space. And then you see a truck ride up. And then Hound's like, oh, that's Day Trader, the most awful transformer to ever live. And he throws like 6 grenades at him. And the guy transforms very calmly. You always resort to violence. Like what the fuck is happening? That's the point when the movie really starts becoming insane.
Yeah.
Is the sequence of events. Truck drives up. Hound, oh, we gotta kill this guy. Throws grenades, transforms, explosions behind him. Steve Buscemi is talking. You always resort to violence. Oh, look, I found Starscream's head. It's like, whoa. Starscream's head exploded.
I honestly completely forgot about Starscream like character at all.
The only part of him that exploded was his head. It's like the frenzy thing all over again.
Maybe I don't
Look what I
fucking
found
know.
in Buffalo. It's Starscream's head. Like what? The one thing you just comment on that actually plays into the plot, that this fucking abhorrent character, which believe they never made a toy of this character.
Oh really? No!
It just seems weird, but they seem very thorough with making these atrocities into plastic, but not this guy. But he sees at the opening junkyard action sequence, Cade finds this green, disgusting robot who gives him like an Oreo cookie, and it climbs into his truck. And then Day Trader's like, that's a Knights of Iacon talisman? It's gotta be fake. It's like, whoa. Knights of Iacon? Iacon's actually a place in Transformers, so I didn't expect to hear that.
Yeah, it was like a thing that was like in his car that like just like automatic that like attached to him, like I don't know how to describe it. You know how like did you ever watch Adventure Time? And like the grass sword attached to Finn? That's basically like what happened. Yeah.
Like Venom?
Oh yeah, Venom would be a better example. But yeah. A movie I'm much rather watching.
Both Venoms are so much more fun. See, Venom 2, we said this has the same pacing, but at least that movie's kind of fun.
Venom 2 is awesome.
Day Trader fucks off.
You never see him again.
You never see him again. He has never been seen or mentioned again. Good God. Rest in peace, asshole. But then you get more character development with Isabella and Cade, where Cade goes inside and he has 3 small dinosaurs as like robot dinosaurs as like pets.
Right. That was kind of.
Where they come from?
Does that mean that Transformers can have babies, or did he just make them?
Or they just exist? Which one is more logical? That there's some like reason for them to exist, or we can sell toys based on baby dinosaurs.
Dude.
We have to have the trailer shot. You gotta have a trailer shot of the young girls summing the cute creatures for the girls to enjoy this movie that fucking thinks women are less than objects.
Do you think there are any actual girls who actually were like, ooh, Daddy, I want to see Transformers 5.
Absolutely
they're cute dinosaurs.
They're watching Thor Ragnarok. They're watching Guardians 2. Or Spider-Man. All those in the
Wonder
same
Woman.
year.
What?
The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Maybe Ray's better than fucking Isabella. Or
loving all the Last Jedi references we've had so far.
He's a funnier. Yeah, I can't believe Last Jedi's taking into this. Sorry, we're thinking of better movies.
Yeah.
But one thing I thought was almost amusing, because it might have been a legit callback, is Cade's like, "Hey, Terry, get me a beer," and then the pterodactyl gets him a beer like the robot he made to get him beer in 4.
Yeah. Also, it's another Bud Light ad, like in Transformers 4.
He literally, his fridge has exclusively Bud Lights in it. That's good detail.
Yep.
And then he gets to use a fake phone to call his daughter. His daughter's not in this movie at all. Neither is the boyfriend. Forgot to mention that.
But thank God the boyfriend is in this movie.
Thank God the fucking daughter isn't either. Because, I mean...
Well, she's in and out of technicality. She's in a
picture, and she has one line over the phone. Supposed to be like emotional, like, oh no, Cade is forsaking his family to work with the Transformers. He's so heroic, and it's like, no, he's just stupid. But,
that phone call had like, it's like the most generic fucking shit, dialogue. Like in every movie, where it's like the Which there she's about to say "I love you" and then it cuts off at the end. That's like every fucking phone call in these shitty action
Pearl Harbor.
movies. Yeah, Pearl Harbor. Yeah, Pearl Harbor. Oh my god!
And their relationship in the last movie was a ripoff of not Pearl Harbor but Armageddon, which is a bad relationship, but it is unique.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Yep.
So from there, we introduced Megatron. Megatron. You know the whole movie that.
I think you mean Galvatron. No, it was just Megatron. This movie.
I don't mean Galvatron. Yeah, it's like being the sixth villain of the last movie. You think Galvatron would have some amount of agency. He's reborn Megatron of new, powerful human technology. Fuck you, he's a Megatron. No Galvatron, no transforming him, no mention of it, no continuity. I really liked him in this movie because he's just done. He's like, I've been brought back to life like 5 times now. I just want to leave. Like, literally. Yeah. You introduced to him and he wants the talisman. I love saying talisman in the shitty Frank Welker accent. Voice. But it is this talisman that Cade now has. That's what Barricade was looking for the talisman. Megatron is just burning things, burning some cars, burning stuff. And then he's like, I need to make a deal with the humans. So I was very confused when that happened. Because this is Megatron. You go ahead. Yeah, you go on.
Because we, obviously in the humans, they have like the special task force that's trying to eliminate all Transformers. So they decide to make a deal with Megatron to release Transformers.
They make a deal with the leader of the Decepticons, the guys who have ravaged the world several times over, to allow them to release more Decepticons, which, despite being just Transformer kill force, they have like tens of prisoners. So they're trusting him to take his team of psychopaths to defeat the Autobots. What the fuck?
I don't know.
The first movie, we were calling Kelsey Grammer a hypocrite for working with Lockdown. This is beyond that. This is so much worse than that.
I think it's kind of funny, like the scene the lawyers where they negotiate, and where he's like, this is basically like the Suicide Squad, or no, just Suicide Squad intro when they introduce like all the villains. Except it's way shorter than that.
But it is hilarious.
Yeah, it is hilarious. I like how it's one. There was like, I forgot their name. It was like, Glub Shitotron, and they're like, hell no, and he's like, oh, okay. This other one, Tron.
That was Berserker.
Yeah.
I've been preparing my whole life for this, pretty much. Okay, starts off, Dreadbot. First, what kind of a name is Dreadbot? You see, it's clearly a reused model from 3 with Volkswagen van parts on him, and you see a clip of him, and he's robbing a bank. And then the lady's like, Dreadbot, bank robbery, murder, triple murder, no way. And then Megatron's like, no, I need Dreadbot. Like, who the fuck is this? And then they go, yeah, sure, you can have him as long as we like put a tracker on him. Then it's Mohawk.
Sorry.
And you see this like fucking weird
for a minute how Dreadbot, a robot. I'm sorry, my voice is like going, but we talk about how Dreadbot, a robot, was trying to rob a bank. But instead of robbing the bank with the money that a robot would, of course, need, he kills 9 people and does not take any of the money.
Yeah.
And then somewhere in between is caught by the TRF.
Yes, that's the best thing. Like we have a TRF, we have a bank robbery. This fucking evil Volkswagen is robbing our bank and killing people.
It's so stupid.
See that movie. Then he's like, Mohawk, this little fucking frog man. What up, fellas? like weird goblin man. Like, who the
Mohawk
fuck?
was awful.
You can clearly tell it's the guy that plays one of the twins because it is. That's a beautiful. He keeps coming back as just the fucking ridiculous character. He's Mudflap. He's Squeaks. He's Mohawk, and he's Brains. Like 4 of the worst characters in the series, and he's just them.
Isn't he Wheelie? Oh wait, no, that's Tom Kenny. Never mind.
No, Wheelie's Tom Kenny.
Wheelie's
in this movie too.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention that. I was audience reaction really turned, but Then it's Nitro Zeus. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What kind of name is Nitro Zeus? And then you see him. He's got Shockwave's head on a Transformers 4 body. He has graffiti and gold chains. And he goes like, saying, I'm gonna miss you, Tim. Say, hey, Enrique, say hello to your wife for me. Like, best character immediately. No fucking contest. Like, the idea that Decepticon is like trying to be a part of human culture is fucking hysterical and also weirdly interesting. But like,
kind of.
Clearly, he got the idea of having gold chains from a person, right? Like, this Decepticon was like, I like that guy's chains. I'm gonna get some of my own. Like, when did that happen?
Like, I have to say, this is a Michael Bay movie with producers who were like they have like double-digit neurons in their head.
So Steven Spielberg.
So I don't think that.
No, he is. I saw in the credits
about Nitro Zeus.
Really?
I don't think they thought like, hey, we want him to be like infatuated with human culture. They're like, no, this is cool. He's a cool robot
with gold chains.
Cool dude.
I know.
This will sell toys. Let's make him cool. You know?
They never even. God damn it! And then, as you mentioned, he goes last but not least, Berserker. Guy rolls up full Hannibal Lecter. I'll suck your brains. And they're like, no. Excuse me? Megatron's not off limits, but this guy is. And
he's cool.
Megatron, the thing about Megatron is that he's not going to suck your brains.
I guess so. That is the one distinction. So then he's like, fine, Onslaught. It's just this little like lumpy green man. You need a bigger door. He seems chill. Like, they picked the nice guy Decepticon. Of course, spoiler alert, he's the one that gets fucking executed first.
Yep.
Onslaught deserved better. So that, I know it's a lot of time for that sequence, but it's like so baffling. It's ripping off a movie that people hated. In like 10 minutes. Only to kill all but 2 of them in the next 10 minutes. Like after this. It's so fucking out of touch and weird. Like,
you're describing this movie in 3 words.
Yeah, really.
Out of touch and weird. Actually, that's more than that, but whatever.
Well,
This movie made me dumber.
It really did. It happened to me too. Everyone was losing it. So Megatron takes his task force to the junkyard. All the Autobots leave the junkyard, except for Hound. And I managed to trick everyone I was with that Hound died. Because Megatron shoots him once and there's like 100 explosions. Like, oh fuck, Hound's dead.
One?
Huh?
Which one? Oh,
the
Hound?
big guy, John Goodman, yeah.
Oh, he died? I didn't even know.
No, he didn't. No, that's the best part. I tricked everyone I was watching the movie with. We had a group of like 3 or 4 different other people besides me. And I said, oh, Hound's dead. They all believe me. There's no reason not to.
Yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure you showed up later in the movie. I was like, why would I not believe you?
I'm telling you, that movie made me, like, it removed a part of my, like, humanity. I'm less of a man than I was before I watched that movie.
I'm more of a robot. Seriously, it's what Michael Bay intended.
Yeah, I'm more of a
You wanted more robots?
I'm transforming into a stupider person while I watch this. Right?
Less than meets the eye.
The last night where I slept at ease. But so they go to the junkyard. Most of the Autobots leave. The Decepticons appear, and then the Autobots are gone, except for Hound. And then Megatron picks up the Starscream head. Oh, my treacherous friend. Starscream never betrayed Megatron in these movies. He was pretty loyal, right?
Yeah.
But no, it's a reference. You know that Starscream is supposed to be treacherous, so he's calling his head treacherous, even though his head blew up. Anywho, the dinosaurs are back. Grimlock emerges from a hole in the ground and then flops around on like a bunch of vans, and then isn't seen until the town in a few minutes. Which, why is all the monsters in the movie just love flopping around? The dragon monster, it has a name. It does have a name.
Wasn't there there was like a serpent monster in 3?
Serpent? Yeah, the driller.
The Dweller.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They didn't make any toys of that, but so they're being tracked by the Decepticon crew of like 5. I like the idea of there just being like 5 Decepticons. That's like it's like the first movie that had a few Autobots, few Decepticons. You know, easy to keep track of, easier to keep track of than fucking 3 or 4, really. But
I miss Albert Einstein Autobot.
Yeah, dude, he died for this. Hugh died for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a chill guy as well. But they go to the town, all the Decepticons are there, and then Squeaks drives out, and then Megatron grabs Squeaks, like, "Oh, you pathetic thing." It's like, "Yeah, Megatron, go off." And then the girl's like, "Put it down! I'm not scared of you." This 30-foot fucking metal Satan, man.
Yeah, what a girl boss.
So, yeah. And then she's like, "What do you even want?" And Megatron's just like, "I want to go home. This planet is hell." It's like, yeah, it is. Like, I'm kind of seeing Megatron. I get what he's saying in this movie.
Yeah, she's spitting facts.
And then he's always been spitting facts in these movies, especially when he said Megatron. But Cade, you go to this town, this abandoned town, and Cade just blows it up. So has he had a town that he rigged to explode?
Yes.
That's what it seems like.
I feel like Michael Bay has had a town rigged to explode.
For years.
Just looking for the perfect movie to use.
For decades. Yeah, we got to have Cade Yeager blow the town up.
Oh, he didn't use an ambulance? Damn.
I bet the ambulance from Ambulance is a Transformer. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's first aid.
That's
sure.
Assumption.
I cannot wait to talk about it.
We're getting closer. We're getting closer. So a battle ensues, and then the Decepticons, you get all this buildup, their own name cards, their own quote-unquote personalities. Onslaught, chopped in half, decapitated. Dreadbot, eaten. I think, and then you get to Mohawk, which my favorite scene in the entire movie. I wish I could show you, Jacob. I wish I could show anyone else, the audience, just the caliber of this scene. Mohawk sees the dead body of Onslaught. Like, yo, this Megatron and Nitro just leave. They just fly away because they're both planes. They're leaving Mohawk alone. Thank God. Fuck him. But it's like, "Hey, yo, Megatron, where'd you go?" He's outside looking at Onslaught's body. Next shot is him, as in the middle of his line. Him in the middle of a warehouse, alone. And he just goes, "Where are you guys?" And then Bumblebee fucking materializes from the right side of the frame and kills him.
Good riddance.
I cannot express how this scene looks unless you just watch it. Like, it's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
We were dying. I'm like, did I just see that? Am I having like a stroke or something? But no, it just happens. So then Cogman appears. This is the main character, I guess. I don't know. Might as well be.
Actually, before we mention that, can we like talk about like some of the? All right, so I think it was the scene where this is from Cade and like his and the girl and
manservant
Jimmy. His basically the TJ Miller replacement, who I will say is way better than TJ Miller. Yeah, TJ Miller was really fucking unfunny, and he died. The good riddance early in the movie. Anyway, Jimmy plays a very similar role where he's basically just Cade's assistant who he doesn't pay, but he's definitely less infuriating. So during the scene, drones were attacking all of them. I think it was this one, right?
Like TIE fighter looking drones, yeah.
Yeah. So a drone shoots Jimmy, and you think he died, but it was just a beanbag. Like, why were they equipped with beanbags?
So he could not die. It's that easy. No, they definitely had guns.
Did they equip fucking drones with beanbags instead of bullets?
Oh, see, there's all of them have guns except for the one with the beanbags, obviously.
What?
I'm bullshitting. It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
Matt, do you have anything to say about this?
Yeah, I didn't say anything about the beanbag, but the drones, about the secret, but about the first movie, the junkyard and the dystopia. We're ending the first movie right about now.
There is no logic for that choice. I think it's just to leave that character alive But I wouldn't put it past
So he
Michael
cannot
Bay.
be in the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So in that there, they get to an elevator, and then Cogman's there. You see Cogman introduced by like, oh my lord, the thing you said was going to happen is happening. Like that's almost exactly. He says thing. Anthony Hopkins, dramatic zoom. He's like, Cogman, it has begun. And then this scene happens. So you see this guy. Cade's like, what the fuck are you? And then he attacks him, and Cogman like kung fu's him out a window.
Yeah, he's basically like Jackie Chan, but our transforming butler,
and also
who didn't transform,
and also has like split personality between butler and maniac. I think is that the intention? I don't know.
Maybe,
but he's calling Anthony Hopkins. He's like, "Oh, he fell out a window. Like, is he okay, Cogman? I don't know. You pushed him out the window. That was your fault." Why are you calling Anthony Hopkins? This is your whatever. And then he gets out, he rides the drones in classic dumb shit movie fashion. And then Cogman's like, we need to go urgently. And then he just fucking leaves for Britain. Leaving everyone but Bumblebee behind.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But we don't see the rest of the characters until the fucking end of the movie. Any of them, besides Cade Yeager and Bumblebee from the quote-unquote first movie.
I don't know why they thought that was a good idea, considering they fucking introduced a replacement for his daughter, and she's barely in the movie, but I digress.
Exactly. So now we enter the second part of the movie. The English history revisionist magic bullshit.
This is when... well, I guess we start a couple scenes with Anthony Hopkins beforehand, but like this is when he like is like really part of the movie. He for me makes this movie watchable. I thought he was really funny. I don't think
he's fucking incredible.
I don't think he phoned this in. I think he like genuinely cared and was having fun.
He did.
Yeah, and even though he's like fucking like 80 years old, you could like tell like he still had like so much charm and charisma, and he was just great in this movie. He's definitely my favorite part.
I wholeheartedly agree. But this part of the movie does not begin with him, Jacob. It gets with Vivian Wembley.
Right. She was a character.
Starts off. Michael Bay gets to film. I'm sure he's always wanted to. The fuck is the sport? The horses with the sticks. Polo. Thank you. Michael Bay edited polo scene. I know you wanted it. And it's like, and then she's like, oh, she's so good at polo. Oh, she's so pretty. And then some guy's like, you don't have a girlfriend, Vivian. What? And then her arc. Okay. Say what you will about Michaela or even Carly. They attempted to have things beside, I mean, not really Carly, but so like Michaela had like the mechanic stuff with her dad's, painted legacy. As a loser character. Vivian Wembley exists to get fucked by someone. Everyone's reminding her how she needs to find a man.
Yep.
And it's really, really uncomfortable every time. Because Michael Bay clearly was like, oh, we need some pretty girl to be the love interest in my new Transformers movie. And then the writers are like, what do we write? Just she needs to find a man, like a strong, brave man to take care of her.
In the form of Marky Mark.
Mark Wahlberg movies. But so you see her, and she's a professor philosopher and something else. Like they kept mentioning 3 different things, but it shows her teaching a lesson on the history of Merlin, just like in the intro of the movie. Oh, look at that! And she's like,
wait,
and at the end, sorry, you go ahead.
There's a scene of a woman teaching a class on British history in this movie where the planet is a robot.
I'm telling you, it's Eternals.
Yeah.
Damn.
I wasn't like really joking about
Michael Bay's a blueprint.
Chloe Zhao was like, Michael Bay is the inspiration here. But
yep.
She ends lessons with like, but it's all bullshit, isn't it? Like she's so smart. Like, oh, the history of Britain has to be fake. I don't believe in it. Immediately, for Anthony Hopkins to be like, you, Vivian Wembley, are part of the secret history of of Merlin and the Transformers. I'm 90% stupid voice today. I'm just fired up on this. On the voices.
They're good. keep at
thank
it.
you. Thank you. I'm sure you're the only person to say that, but I'm having a good time. So she's taken to. Oh no, she gets into her car, and her car just is sentient. It's a transformer. Surprise! Fuck you.
It's
there was some fucking Rod.
Yeah, Hot Rod, played by Omar Sy, who's a very popular French actor. I don't know why he's had to be in this, but I digress.
There's a Jurassic World as well. He just does whatever.
Yeah.
There's something else. There's an actual movie I saw with him, and it's not that, and it's not Jurassic World either.
Intouchables, that's probably his most famous role.
Not the one I've seen. Whatever. But he gets in the car, and she says a joke, and I thought, like, it's one of the very few jokes like in these movies that I think lands as part of the series. And she's like, "Oh, I got kidnapped by a Transformer. And is it one of the popular ones, like Soundwave or Shockwave?" Firstly, before she goes for the two ones that have the same name, like it's impossible to not mix those names up. Also, the characters are so popular in universe that she assumes she got kidnapped by one. That's pretty interesting.
Why are those the two characters that first come to mind? Not the two main Autobots
are like
their names
they're
are the
like
same.
murderous war criminals.
Yeah, Shockwave is like this fucking hobo who's frozen in ice for like 1,000 years and then just decided to kill people in Chernobyl and in Chicago. Soundwave's an executioner. No prisoners, only trophies. Yeah, you really do want to hope that guy is kidnapping you. And he did kidnap someone in the third movie too. I just remembered that. Whatever. But so he's just like this fairly old car, really nice old car, something different. No, this is Michael Bay. He has to scan a Lamborghini.
It would have been nice to see him transform, but no, into an old car.
Imagine like a car that came like the probably the better designs in the movies are the ones where they're older cars because they actually have to have car parts on them.
I want to see a Model T Transformer.
Or like Jetfire's father, a wheel, the first wheel. What do you transform into? Nothing. I missed that joke. I like it. That's another fun joke that pokes fun at the universe. But this guy kidnaps Vivian Wembley. Optimus Prime says Vivian like 10 times. It's very funny. But Vivian. So he takes her.
Actually, can we just mention first that he's not Optimus Prime anymore. He's Nemesis Prime.
I am Nemesis Prime,
and he says it by name.
That's like the Nemesis history lesson. Sorry about that again. Nemesis Prime is usually like a clone of Optimus or like a fabrication. Like in Transformers 4 when they made a fake Optimus, that's what Nemesis Prime usually is. But in this movie, he's just evil, so he renamed himself Nemesis Prime. By the way, Optimus is like a pointed name. Like it's sort of his first name now. It's like if you changed your name to like Nemesis last name. Like it's very stupid. But yeah, Vivian. So they go. So at the same time as Mark Wahlberg's flying over to Anthony Hopkins' place, she's being driven there in Hot Rod. I'm not calling him Hot Rod.
Hot Rod.
Do that. But and then my favorite exchange in the movie is when Mark Wahlberg meets Anthony Hopkins properly, because it's literally just Anthony Hopkins both out acting and out like funnying Mark Wahlberg like endlessly.
Mm-hmm.
He just starts rambling about, and his character is just rambling about nonsense. The character, but it's beautiful. It's Anthony fucking Hopkins.
Yeah, he can like deliver like fucking I don't know the script of the Song of the Mask would still sound better than anything else.
Exactly. He sees Cade, and Cade's like, bro, I don't know if you're smoking that pipe, bro. Oh, and you see a tank turn into a robot. And he's like an old man with a mustache and a hat. And he's like, oh shit, my bricks are falling off. And then he goes in this like 10-minute rant, not 10 minutes, like a minute. He thinks it's part of a war, the unbridled darkness of combat. He's got robot dementia, not pretty. And then Cade takes like a pause, looks at him. I don't know, you're smoking that pipe, bro. He keeps saying bro and dude. And then Hopkins hits him with my favorite line in the movie. Yes, but you want to know, don't you, dude? He really fucking leans into it. and it's genuinely funny. Like I remember laughing in the theater. That was the only part I laughed at.
Oh my god!
It's he's taking the piss out of Mark Wahlberg, and that's great.
Owning Mark Wahlberg with facts and logic.
And then he says something like, "Oh, Bumblebee, I knew you when I was that yay high in short pants." Like what? He's just like, "I knew you, Bumblebee." Bumblebee's like, "I literally have no idea who you are." And then the conversation continues about something else. It's just part of this movie's insane adamance to cover every bit of ground possible, even if it doesn't matter. Especially if it doesn't matter. So he's taken inside. Vivian Wembley shows up. She's taken inside, and then the exposition dump happens. I think I'll let you guys cover that for now because I have a lot to add to this in time.
Yeah. Okay. So we find out that that Vivian is the last descendant of King Arthur, and only
Merlin!
Sorry, Merlin. Fuck.
How could you have made this
I love that echo effect that I just heard.
Which effect?
I conjured it. Don't worry.
That was very powerful.
Okay, sorry. The last descendant of Merlin, and she's apparently the only one who knows where the staff or the 57th MacGuffin of the series is. And Cade Yeager, as we mentioned previously, is the titular Last Knight, and only he can do whatever the fuck the Last Knight can do.
Which is wield the talisman?
Yeah, wield the talisman. Okay,
what that means, we don't know.
Fucking.
There's so much to unpack in that goddamn. You got a good, concise description, but there's so much.
There's a funny sequence with Cogsman where he's playing the score of the movie on a fucking organ,
and then singing it.
Also, I should just say that okay, Steve Jablonsky, love the guy, but this is definitely his weakest score out of the Transformers movies.
It's unmemorable. It's unremarkable. It's really doesn't stand out. I barely even could tell it was playing music in other movies until the last scene of the movie.
Right. Yeah, nothing memorable at all, really.
Scene, just that sequence. It starts with Anthony Hopkins going around his family line. It's like the 17th Duke or Earl of shitfuck or whatever. He's like, "Oh, that's my great grandmother. Her husband poisoned her. She was a total bitch. Oh, there's my great uncle Leonard. He was completely insane, thrown in an insane asylum. A fantastic guy. Like just nonsense. Just
yeah. I want to mention how pretty much every famous person in the history of mankind was in with the conspiracy of the Transformers and kept them hidden from public eye.
Abraham Lincoln,
George Washington, fucking William Shakespeare, and they have a picture of Sam up there too.
They imply that Transformers helped in the Underground Railroad.
Oh yeah, Harriet Tubman. Yeah.
Harriet Tubman.
Oh my god.
And meanwhile, you see pictures. There's a picture of Optimus, but he's been photoshopped to have like a fucking dragon on his chest, and he has like a fucking cannon, like a fireworks cannon from Kung Fu Panda 2. You see Ironhide with like a bunch of boats.
We get that one scene with Bumblebee too, where he's like fighting in World War II.
World War II flashback of him in blood shooting up a Nazi camp.
But again, it just feels weird for Bumblebee to even be that old because he's actually a child.
Exactly, but that fun fact that was shot at Winston Churchill's ancestral home, which they flew Nazi flags over.
That's great, just fantastic.
And it's just an out of nowhere flashback, and then as soon as it happens, it ends. Hopkins has a bust of Optimus from these movies. He has a bust of Megatron from this movie, who shouldn't even exist. It's like this is the room that fucks the canon. They just keep peppering away at continuity, and then this room just breaks it down with a fucking sledgehammer. It's just ridiculous, and I love it.
It's so fucking odd. I I guess we should probably move on now because I guess like
one tiny thing to check, one actually small thing. When he's talking about the knight, like what are the qualities of a knight? He has to be brave, strong, chaste. And then Mark's like, yeah, I was chased by a bunch of TRF guys. It's a Family Guy joke. I actually laughed at that. It's a stupid pun.
Oh yeah, one more thing. We find out that fucking Stonehenge is the center of Pangea, and it was built there by the fucking, or was it built there by the Transformers? Like built like a million years ago or something.
Yeah, Transformers built Stonehenge.
Yeah, so like so I don't even fucking know that served for the plot of the movie. To be honest,
it comes into play later, kind of. But then they're like, then the British authorities show up. I'm guessing because of the kidnapping, but I don't really know for sure. And then they begin to leave. But Cogman and Hopkins get into what is known as a decoy car, and it's just a supercar. Like, oh yeah, that'll keep you from getting hunted by the police. Get in your fucking supercar. So begins a very, 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 very bad car chase, on par with the one from.
Yeah. It reminded me of like a very shitty Fast and Furious car chase,
like an early Fast and Furious movie car chase.
Yeah, or like, well, because I wouldn't say that because like there aren't really that many car chases in the early Fast and Furious movies.
Well, I'm saying the ones that were there.
Yeah,
from like the early ones.
I guess so. Also
very amateurish.
Yeah. Also, like it was so weird that like there was a car chase in a Transformers movie, and there's basically no Transformers in that scene.
There's Bumblebee, and then there's the decoy car, and then Barricade does show up, but
yeah, I mean like not like in their actual Transformers form.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
The first movie had a very brief chase, but they were robots for most of it, with Optimus and Bone Crusher. I could have missed that. Mm-hmm. Or three had a really good car chase comparatively, but they're on the run. They have to get to a museum. Wait, no. First, they go to Vivian's house to find the location of the staff. Oh my god. Sorry, it's just this movie stupidity just hit me all at once. But then the Anthony Hopkins and Cogman have to distract the police, and they go from their supercar decoy to another supercar decoy that is parked in the middle of a random street. And then Hopkins says something like, why'd you have to park the decoy car so far away? Where did you even park that? Cogman, get out of his fucking penthouse, run 25 miles to town, park a fucking like Ferrari in the middle of a occupied street at like 1 a.m, and then go back. Like, what the fuck? And then they're driving away, and you can tell Hopkins is having the time of his life. He's like, whoa, yeah, he's flipping people off. Cogman is singing, move, bitch, get out of my way.
I just didn't write that down.
Hopkins is just having the time of his life, and it's like it's almost infectious. Like it's a bad car chase, but his joy made me smile.
I forgot when this happens, but he also said, "Move your fat ass now."
That's in the movie.
That's in a different scene.
That's when they get to the submarine. We're very close. So then one of the least funny Michael Bay sequences I've ever seen, which is saying a lot because we've seen most of them, is when Cade and Vivian have to find the location of the staff in a room, and they're just like moving shit around. And then the four like fucking like stepsisters, like the Cinderella bullshit, like squabble, are like, oh, they're doing it in there. Ooh, quite. And it's like,
oh my god,
10 minutes. Like, oh, it's quite rough in there. Ooh. While they're knocking over stuff. And it made me want to fucking take Optimus Prime's arm spear and put it directly into my own skull. But
it's so bad.
Sorry, an orange sword into my own skull. That would really do it in. But they find it in like a pop-up book in a random black and white flashback that just happens for no reason. It's a lot of random
it was very weird because it was like the flashback was like mostly black and white, and then like phased like color like right at the end of the flashback.
Yeah, exactly. And then they get it. They drive to this museum, which is they learn that it's in a submarine museum. Yeah. And then while this is happening, Anthony Hopkins goes to the Prime Minister. There's this beautiful scene. He goes to the fucking front entrance. It's like, I'd like to see the Prime Minister. And the guys are like, oh, the fuck are you doing? Get away. It's like, oh, well, screw you. I'll go to the side entrance. What? And then he goes in like a secret passageway, and he is in the room with the prime minister. And then he calls the authorities, and it's like, and then he pulls out, you mentioned it before, the watch that killed Hitler. Don't screw with it. What? What the fuck? A Decepticon killed Hitler? And he said, like, if I open this, every one of us will die. Whoa! That's a bit of a play, Anthony.
He's just a terrorist. He's become a terrorist.
He literally is a terrorist.
Yeah.
Like more than Cade is at this point, I would say.
Yeah.
He's more earnestly a terrorist. But then he meets up with them, and he goes to the museum. The other two run in. He's like, oh, they love submarines. Like to try to like hand wave why they're breaking into the place. And then he goes to the lady there. He's like, this is closed permanently. And he gives him like a slip of paper. And then he's moving people off the submarine. Everyone off the sub now! Move your fat ass! And he's just shooing people off the submarine. It's beautiful.
Also, I just say how weird it is that this fucking like 80-year-old submarine still fucking works without you need to put in any gas.
It's because it's a transformer, Jacob.
Yeah, but it doesn't transform. It didn't.
Yeah, I know. I'm fully aware.
Fuck this movie.
I'm just saying. I mean, the watch that killed Hitler's still fine. It's been quite a while since that, right?
The watch that killed Hitler is a Transformers 2, I guess.
Well, I'm saying it's been around since like 1930, whatever.
Okay, whatever. I'm done.
Anyway, we're about halfway through as well. Yeah. Beautiful.
Anyway, Vivian and Cade Yeager get in the submarine with Cogman.
He powers it up with her fucking DNA Merlin bullshit power.
Yeah. For some reason, Anthony Hopkins won't go with them. Like, although I can't.
He's like, I'm old.
He's too old. Yeah. We see Cogman when they're like in the submarine going to find the staff or whatever. We see Cogsman cook up a nice dinner for them. He beats a fish that he dives.
He launches himself out of the submarine, comes back with 2 live fish, slaps them to death on screen, and then gives them a fish dinner with fruit and vegetables as well.
Yes.
Which he just conjured, I guess.
Yes. That happened.
Another good excuse to point out that Mark Wahlberg takes off his shirt, and then you see the talisman moving around, and there's like, oh, would the talisman move to your nether regions? Like, I don't know, man.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh.
And another elongated scene where it's like, oh, she's thirsty for him, and he's thirsty for her, but they're not quite on the same page about it. Kill me. Kill Michael Bay. Not me. I deserve better than this. He doesn't.
He deserves nothing.
Say that on the internet, man.
I'm sorry. I'm going to be killed by Michael Bay very soon.
They're knocking doors like, oh yeah, is this Michael from Baycast? Yeah, we have a warrant for your arrest for wanting to kill Michael Bay.
My face is my warrant.
No, one day you're gonna get a phone call. You're gonna pick it up, and it's gonna be Michael Bay.
I heard you didn't like Transformers 5. Yeah, I have a couple of drones coming to your house right now.
TIE fighter
they're shaped like little TIE fighters.
I've sent squeaks to your location.
That would be horrible. Please don't.
Exactly. But let's continue. They go further into the depths of I don't know where the fuck they are, which ocean. I don't live in England. But you see Josh Duhamel and his crew of Transformer killers are following them into this giant giant like submerged Transformer ship. And that becomes the set piece for the next like 20 or so minutes. What can I say about it? It looks like the ship from the 4th movie, but there's more water. They find a night. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, no. Honestly, I didn't mind that set. It reminded me like stupid like 90s action movies because of the smoke coming out of nowhere and the fire coming out of nowhere.
Plumes. Yeah, it was very like Terminator 2 in that sense. Like a set, not quality set. I'm just please believe what I'm saying. I'm not.
It was a slightly enjoyable set. I'll give it that.
Compared to the rest, because it looked mostly practical.
Yeah.
Even the outdoor places in this movie look like they're CG most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how they do it. But they get in there, and then a fantastic thing happens. They find the tomb of Merlin looking for a staff, a stick. Mark Wahlberg looks at him. No! Where is it? Picks up a stick. We're supposed to be looking for an alien staff. He doesn't think that the Transformer staff might have transformed into something less suspicious. He's a
bit soft in the head.
He sees a staff and he's like, "No, this isn't it. This can't be. It's over." Like immediately, like fucking.
What?
Staff.
No, this isn't the staff.
No. Vivian Wembley picks it up. Wembley,
whatever.
Who got cancer in Guardians 2? And then they wake up a half-dead skull monster who is known as Skullatron, who just starts. I know you like that one. He just starts like, "I need to protect the staff," and then a bunch of the knights just start slicing around randomly, like fucking like Legend of Zelda bosses, and then all the Marine guys show up and they do the Transformers 3 stuff. They shoot them in the eyes and they blow their legs up. That was from the third movie. Impressed, I remembered. But then Optimus Prime shows up. Oh, sorry.
Nemesis Prime
shows up, disembowels 5 of them instantaneously. And he's also like 20 feet taller in the scene.
Also, Nemesis Prime / Optimus Prime continues his rhetoric of wanting to kill everything. He literally says, "I will kill you." At one point,
I think 4 times.
Yeah, I am Optimus Prime. You are nothing. That is a line as well.
Yep.
So
he just goes,
sorry, go.
"I'm taking the staff," and he takes the staff. Bumblebee, who has been there the whole time, kind of chases after him, and then the trailer fight begins. Oh, Bumblebee versus Optimus. Yeah, as if you care. It's like Civil War, BVS. Fast and the Furious, whatever one was coming out during that time. The main heroes are fighting. Goes on for like
Godzilla versus Kong.
Well, that was later than this, but it was later than this. But it's the same. It's the same idea, pretty much. So it goes on for like 2 minutes. It's half slow mo. Bumblebee. Well, we were talking about this during the movie. He conjures a hammer because he had a hammer in the World War II flashback. That's the only explanation we could think of. That he just willed it into existence. Like, oh yeah, I did have a hammer when I shot Nazis, so we got another one. And he beats Optimus with that, and then Optimus is sort of killing him, but we also know Bumblebee's immortal because he turned into like 25,000 pieces earlier.
Yeah, so he's basically God.
And he gets him into a real precarious situation. Optimus Prime has his he just summons like a RoboCop arm spike out of nowhere. Not his iconic orange sword. That I would have been fucking scared of.
No, that's dead. That's done. He's a sword
I
now.
know. I know the orange swords aren't coming back. But he's like, I'm Nemesis Prime and you are nothing. And he rips his window, his doors off, which is like, oh no. And then he just glues them back on because he could do that. But then Bumblebee, here we go. End of his beautiful arc. He just talks. No voice box. No explanation. Not even the same voice actor.
Yeah, it's Derek Martin from the first movie.
It is Bumblebee, your oldest friend. And Optimus, classic Optimus, memory of an elephant he has. Bumblebee, I haven't heard you speak since the war. Which is factually incorrect if you've seen the first movie.
Well, Mike, you have to consider that Transformers 2007 was the catalyst for a war on cinema that is known as the Transformers franchise. So in a way, a war did start.
Well, the first movie may have started the Scourge, this horrifying series of nightmares, but it did at least establish a few things. Like Bobby could talk, but didn't do it often. This movie, he could just talk again. Also, by the way, if you realize, man, kind of sounds like shit. You know how they got to voice him? A fucking audio guy. He's not even a voice actor.
Yeah, I saw that. He worked with this sound in a lot of movies, but he wasn't
what
the
the
actual
hell?
voice actor.
Really? You couldn't hire they got John DiMaggio to be 3 characters. Why couldn't whatever? Get John DiMaggio.
I mean, historically, if you look at this is the last time I'm going to diverge, but if you look at like Star Wars, Matthew Woods, the guy who does the sound for everything, as Skywalker sound, he voices Grievous, my favorite relatable robot with Kobe. He voices the battle droids. He voices like Love Shido, all your favorite characters. Yep. You know?
But also he has enough versatility to do different voices. Bumblebee sounds like he has COVID in this movie. More than Grievous, more than you.
Maybe that's why I liked him so much.
He's a funny
the most relatable character.
So Optimus immediately snaps out of it because he's talking to his good best buddy in the whole wide world, Bumblebee. And then the knights appear from the beginning, just like 20 of them just materialize.
Dude, just like that.
I think it's technically 13, but it's funny to say like 20 or 50 because it's bigger number equals more funny. And Optimus turns around, sees them, and he says something to the effect of, "The Guardian Knights are going to kill me." Like, Optimus Prime just accepts to die right now? Really? I don't believe that. So one of the knights is going to execute Optimus Prime, and then, oh boy, the talisman moves from Cade's wherever it was onto his hand, forming into an 8-foot-tall sword that blocks the sword strike of a Transformer-sized sword.
Yes.
That is his role as the Last Knight. That is the last thing he does that has anything to do with the title of the movie.
Yep.
The fact that he had this talisman, he's chosen for a prophecy, is irrelevant besides this single moment. That marvelous.
It's something. It's something, all right.
And then Megatron flies with Nitro Zeus. And when Optimus became evil, he got the Quintessa bitch slapped a little red paint mark on his face to show he's evil. Megatron shows up. He has the same mark.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is this explained? No, fuck you. That's what. Then why not? So Megatron has this mark. Nitro Zeus doesn't. I don't know why he doesn't get one. Because he only has like 2 sides of his face. But Megatron and Nitro are like, "Hey, Optimus, what's up, asshole?" And they just fly away. Oh, no, he takes the staff. That's what he does. He takes the staff and flies away. That is actually a thing he does.
Right.
He takes the Quintessa, who's piloting the derelict remains of Cybertron, which it's clearly smaller than Cybertron, but fucking cares.
Yeah, it's a tiny-ass thing.
And, we forgot about one of the main characters. Tony Hale is a random scientist in this movie, a la Armageddon, who periodically shows up to talk about the incoming threat of the Cybertron planetoid. And during the end of the movie, he becomes a very much present character in trying to figure out how to stop the issue. For some reason. I forgot anything in the movie, but he's like a really big part. He's a bigger part of this movie than the hackers in the first movie, and they were pretty big.
Yeah, he wants to kill the Decepticons with facts and logic.
He literally says like I want to use real physics and application. Like he's like the Ben Shapiro of the crew, pretty much.
I also want to mention that I guess like the main plot or like the thing with the Decepticons is that Earth, the planet, is Unicron, which is another. I don't even know what Unicron is, to be exact, but it's like
big transformer.
Yeah, it's a giant transformer, and basically the whole plot is that like either Unicron is gonna die or Cybertron is gonna die for like the millionth time, I guess, and I guess like that's like the plot, the motivation of Megatron. It's just so confusing. And so
Megatron just wants to go home. He said as much earlier. Yeah. He said as much in the third movie too. He doesn't even care about evil anymore. He just wants to fucking leave.
Yeah.
And, like, respect. Or sucks. But...
sorry. I'm just at a loss of words right now.
It's all right. I'm trying to find some words. Trying to recenter us. The Decepticons take point at Stonehenge, which is the direct center of the Unicron horns that are emerging across the globe. Very important plot point. We didn't mention it because it doesn't matter. So Stonehenge is the center. Nitro, Barricade, and Megatron take point at Stonehenge because that's the center. That's where the Cybertron planetoid will drop down. Quintessa has a chamber that has a staff that steals energy from Unicron's core so they can kill him without him waking up. I think that's what's happening. But I
more or
don't
less.
really know. And thus the final battle begins. The Autobots fly in because apparently Day Trader got them they got them locked down ship in the last movie. Did you notice that? It was the same ship.
Oh, was it?
Doesn't matter. Yep. It's reused assets because why not? So the other characters from the first by the first movie, I mean the first movie in this movie, arrive at Stonehenge essentially, as Cybertron is beginning to literally scrape cities off of its surface. They said something like projected deaths in the tens of millions. No, fuck you. That's billions. That's world ending. Don't even.
Basically.
Like, how is Armageddon? Like the whole world's gone, but this is like, a few million might go. No.
Yeah, they say like tens of millions. Like no, it is basically the entire world.
That's extinction.
Yeah.
The age of extinction, perhaps. But so the Decepticons are fighting the military and now the Autobots at Stonehenge. Anthony Hopkins dramatically walks the Stonehenge Center with his cane. It is his drippy little hat. He pulls his cane up. It makes the classic Transformers sound. And he starts fucking blasting Megatron. Gets a few good shots in. Give him credit. Megatron turns around. You wretched human. Shoots Anthony Hopkins. Anthony Hopkins ragdoll.
He goes fucking flying.
It's phenomenal.
Fly now?
And it's also like, this is like the one good character. So I'm like, I actually liked him. But it's still hilarious.
Yeah, it's too funny. It's that you just don't care.
You can't not. Yeah. Then Cogman's like, oh, rest in peace. Of all the Earls I served, you were the coolest. And then he just dies.
Yep.
His story's over. Cogman also doesn't do anything the whole rest of the movie. Go figure. He was supposed to take over Nitro Zeus's head, but he didn't.
I mean, he's a pretty capable fighter. I think he should have been able to like fucking kill a couple.
He would have killed Megatron. Yeah, literally. Yeah. He almost killed Crosshair just for calling him a C-3PO ripoff. Why not shit to Megatron or Nitro or fucking Unicron for all I care? He could just select Unicron and he would not live. Easy. But
so pretty much
digress.
The final battle of this movie. I will get this. It is different and not just a battle against Autobots and Decepticons in like a big city. It's more so like pieces of Cybertron that's like fallen onto Earth, and it's mostly like a fight that takes place in the air. Which I'll give you that. It is a little different. It's not great, but it's different.
Also mentioned that even though there's no Decepticons, they're Decepticon ships.
Yeah, but I should be
flying around.
Yeah.
Why the hell not? So the siege is Mark Wahlberg, Vivian Wembley, Josh Duhamel, and then the TRF guy. TRF guy goes like, I'm sorry for hunting you down. We're chill now. Pulls off his badge. There's his character arc. No character. Implication for character arc. Nothing substantial. Nothing even that small.
I forgot. You forget that the task force was even a thing for like a good chunk of it. It was like they just tear off their badge.
Do you care about the task force killing the second or third anti-transformer task force, or do you care about Cybertron destroying Earth? Which one are you going to cling on to more easily? Exactly. There's like 5 villains, but at least in the fourth movie, they're all equally stupid. This movie, Quintessa's at least more of a threat. She's doing some random evil shit.
Yeah, she's
like
just like not present.
She's barely there, but at least she's got like Sith electricity and force powers and flies around and is like a weird robot human. And we say it's Gemma Chan as the voice, but it's clearly modeled after.
Yeah, it's modeled for her.
It also goes in what I was saying with the characters looking more and more like humans. This is just a gray human.
Yeah, pretty much.
So they deploy. Squeaks and Isabella somehow went onto the Osprey as they're dropping off. And they're trying to get to the chamber where they could take the staff and stop the Cybertron from destroying them. I think that's what's happening. So Isabella re-enters the movie after like literally 2 hours. Pretty surprising, I'll admit. Then I know she goes to Squeaks like, that turret is really eating us up. You're ugly. No one will look at you.
Yeah, like words hurt, man. That robot might have depression if you keep talking to him like that.
Definitely. But like that's her pet
that robot might get COVID from its
supposed to be like
movie.
Squeaks is a weird amalgamation, and at the end of the movie, he finally gets his moment to shine, and it's a pep talk about how he's fucking disgusting and revolting, and no one will ever care to pay attention to him. Really, Mike? I don't like.
I think the central message of this movie, even if you are ugly, Michael Bay might have a place for you.
Amen.
Steve, he has a place for Steve Buscemi in half of his movies.
Steve Buscemi's a god.
No, he's a handsome man.
Day Trader was one of the villains. That would be a twist. I'm sorry, I'm thinking of things that are interesting. My bad. But they deploy, and then Optimus, despite we always say something pushes Optimus back from being part of the bat. That always happens. First movie, he had to fight Bone Crusher. Second movie, he fucking died. Third movie, he was caught up in ropes. Fourth movie, he was kidnapped by Lockdown. This movie, he's just lazy.
Yeah,
he's literally free to do whatever he wants and rejoin the fight only when it's the most cinematic.
One
thing I do kind of... Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No.
I'm really getting overzealous this one.
He showed up like very fashionably late with, similar to 4 where he got the dinosaur. This one he had the fucking night dragons, I guess. Yeah, there was no reason why he was late, really. It was just because I guess it was cool for him to become riding it on the dragon.
Because he can fucking fly in this movie. Remember?
Yeah, he can fly.
I guess not beyond Jupiter, or whatever. But he can still fly. And one thing I do kind of like is just a random background element that Quintessa has this like Satan bodyguard called Infernicus. Just a super evil, like, doom monster that splits into, like, 6 guys. That's kind of cool. Mm-hmm. And unlike Devastator, it actually, like, splits, reforms. It does stuff. So, of course, Optimus Prime rolls in. They realized he's only brutally executed, like, 3 people. We should up that a lot. We've been lacking. So he goes for the Infernicus, which he calls an ugly mess, which, I mean, is true, but, I mean, Squeaks is also there. So he stabs the combiner. It splits into 6 guys. Do you know who I am? Pulls out his sword. Decapitates, like, 9 of them in one swing.
Yeah, that was sick. By sick, I mean, like, sicken like an 11-year-old boy.
Sickening.
Yeah, I will never forget. Unfortunately, I've watched this movie before. But I will never forget when I was watching a pirated version or like clips on YouTube. I don't know, something or other. But during that scene where Optimus decapitates all of the Infernicons in one fell swoop, where he goes, I am Optimus Prime. It just cut off after the I, and then it went to the next scene. And it was just like hilarious.
It was beautiful. I. Also, like the third time he says his name, which is pretty great. And then there's some bullshit. I think maybe after Optimus does that is when the Squeak scene happens, but there's no like sense of order or direction in that part. So they bring Vivian. Oh no, Vivian and Cade, like they gave a little smooch because they had such good chemistry. Dude, Isabella had better chemistry with Squeaks by calling him like a fucking useless sack of shit. And then they have chemistry in this movie. Day Trader had better chemistry with Hound. Like, Jesus. But, so they finally get Tony Hale is like, we can destroy one of the bits of Cybertron and use it as a pendulum to destroy the chamber. He does that, it doesn't work. He's like, oh no, my facts and logic didn't work.
Yeah.
And thus they actually have to bring Vivian to the chamber. So Utterlug, Bumblebee, Hound, Optimus, Cade, and Vivian go to the chamber against Megatron, Nitro, and Quintessa. And like Hot Rod uses this gun that stops time because he has a gun that stops time. It seems like a thing that any other movie would be really important. This movie, it's not. But he stops time. Hound shoots him in the face. Optimus cuts his arm off and then kicks him out a window. Disposed of. Nitro Zeus is just shot in the head by Bumblebee. Disposed of. Rest in peace, King, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And then Quintessa is like, Optimus goes for Quintessa with his sword, which, worked so well the first time because he just immediately enslaved him. He's like, you, Optimus. He has like a weird vocal like, you, Optimus, you will never save this planet. And then Optimus is like, say hello to my friend.
Yeah, I was like, is that a Scarface reference in fucking Transformers?
And also, the way he said it made he sound like he was ill. And then Bumblebee just fucking just destroys, like, he disintegrates instantly. And then he speaks, and what are his next words? Sting like a bee. Come on, man. Like, if the voice isn't enough, the fucking line just sucks.
I'm pretty sure there was like one or two times, like after Bumblebee talked in this movie, where he talked to the radio.
Yes,
yeah,
he does. Exactly.
So maybe he just likes talking to the radio now, I guess. I don't fucking know. He
has to. Apparently he does.
I don't know.
But so they get to the thing. The staff is either planted or removed, whatever saves the day. Whether it's planted or removed, one of those two. They all land. Optimus Prime catches them as the chamber's falling, and he turns into a truck off screen.
Yeah, the only time he turned into a truck this entire movie.
One time you see him as a truck. And then all of the Autobots convene, even the ones like Crosshair and Hound who did like almost nothing. And also Drift just isn't there.
Yeah. I think it was literally, as stated before, like, they literally just made him a car, so they wouldn't have to, he wouldn't be a helicopter for plot convenience.
No, but he just wasn't in the scene. The end scene of the movie, he's just not there.
Yeah. No, he wasn't there.
He just failed to show up, like Optimus normally does. He might have been piloting the ship or some shit, but I didn't say that, okay? So there's like, Squeaks and Isabella are happy, the military guys are chill. The Autobots just fuck off on Cybertron. After the first three movies, there's a line in the third movie, in the final monologue. There will never come a day where we forsake this planet or its people. Fifth movie, they just all leave. Actually, except for the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs are still there. I forgot about that. But the movie forgot about them too. They didn't bring the dinosaurs to Stonehenge because that would make things too easy, obviously. They have to be stuck in wherever the fuck they are right now. Was it Dakota, I think? Something like that.
Something like that.
So Autobots leave. Optimus Prime his speech isn't even the end of the movie. Wait, is it? Yes, it is. I don't know what it's about. I don't even remember his speech. I remember even the speech from 4 because it was so stupid. I don't know this one.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
That's okay. I'll make one up on the spot. Oh yeah, no. He says there's more to them than meets the eye, like in the first movie. But it doesn't feel earned because he learned throughout the last 2 movies that humans suck and should all be killed. So there's less to them than meets the eye. And instead of Linkin Park, it's fucking ex-ambassadors. And there's a credit scene where you see Gemma Chan,
but even more real
Gemma Chan. They're looking at one of the horns, and some guy's like, "What are you touching that thing for?" And then she's like, "Oh, he's still sleeping. You'd best hope he stay that way." And then the movie ends.
Yeah. Great work, Michael Bay. I love great film.
One of the most I don't. This is probably offensive. One of the most schizophrenic films I've ever seen.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's more entertaining than 4, but
yes, most things are.
Yeah, but it's
more entertaining than 4.
Might be more of a mess.
It might be worse than 2.
No, yeah, it is worse than 2 in my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's my thing, right? So the first 3 Transformers movies are basically like the most expensive, incoherent coming of age story of all time with Sam Witwicky. But since with these movies you're following a much less interesting character, they're forced to overcompensate it with abhorrent confusing storylines that make the movies the lengths that they are. And I have to say this movie is definitely more entertaining than 4, but it's still an absolute it's probably more of a mess than 4.
More
but
of a mess. Absolutely.
yeah, and it just sucks. That's all I can say.
It just sucks. I mean,
yeah.
I guess we're at the fun facts stage.
Yeah, I have a couple. So apparently,
I have one that I don't think is on IMDb. So you get these official ones, and I'll fill out the rest.
So apparently, Mark Wahlberg announced that this will be his last Transformers movie as Kate Yeager around the time the movie was released. He signed on for a contract of 3 movies with the knowledge that he would be relieved earlier, or he could be relieved earlier. So I guess he was just fucking. I don't know why he was. Were the movies that traumatizing for him? Because obviously he wanted to work with Bay again after Pain and Gain, which was a solid movie in my opinion, and yours. So did he really just not enjoy these movies, or thought they'd tarnish his career more than something I don't know, Daddy's Home 2 would?
I don't know. I mean, that movie is generic and bad, presumably. This is bad, but certainly not generic.
Yeah.
Stands out more, I guess.
I don't fucking know. I think there's one more. But we already mentioned the how long the original cut was, right?
An hour longer.
Yeah, it was a quote unquote much longer, and roughly a whole hour's worth of footage was cut from the theatrical cut. So can you imagine a 3.5 hour Transformer this movie? What scenes were so necessary that they had to add here? I don't fucking know.
This movie's over 2 hours, and it feels like scenes were cut to 1/10 of the original length, especially that scene with Mohawk, which, once again, I reiterate, you must see to believe.
I'll rewatch it.
I'm guessing half of that cut content was probably just stuff from the beginning with the knights. That's my guess. Probably just wanted to make a night movie, and we've got 2 hours of content. Let's cut it down to 20 minutes.
All right. What was your trivia fact?
One thing that I didn't really think about until I saw it. I knew about it, but I didn't. It jogged my memory again seeing this movie again. That's a weird sentence. What the fuck? Because the character Nitro Zeus, I love him dearly, of course, but there's a weird thing where he has 2 different voice actors and entirely different lines in 2 different versions of the movie. The first one, he's voiced. You see it in the credits as well. They have both listings in the credits for the different voice actors, which is pretty hilarious. When I saw the pre-release version, I don't remember. I think it was Optimus Prime time at AMC. Optimus Prime time, all 10 minutes that he had. He's voiced by Stephen Barr, I think it said, and he's. I remember there was some of the lines when he lands in the junkyard, and Megatron's oh, they're all gone. He's unfortunate. I was looking at knocks of heads, and then later, or earlier, obviously, because it's his intro, he says something different to the humans, something I don't remember what it was.
He says, I remember this offhand. He says, by the way, in UK, Chad's sleeping with your wife.
Yeah,
whereas in the John DiMaggio version, I don't mean to step on your toes, but he says,
you got it.
I know where you live, Enrique. Say hello to your wife.
Yes, and it's John DiMaggio in the wide release version. And the line is that line is different, and he says something different in the junkyard and on the ship remains. But they just left both voice actor credits in the movie. So you have Nitro Zeus, Stephen Barr, Nitro Zeus, John DiMaggio. And I don't know if you can see the scenes with the different lines on YouTube and stuff, not in any official release of the movie.
Interesting.
It's very, very.
It's weird.
But I only know that because I saw the original version in that showing.
That's so weird.
It is very strange. I mean, I know that all the voice actors are final, but the version of the movie, the character's the same. It sounds a little different. It says slightly different things, but it's not it wasn't they had Optimus voiced by someone else or Megatron. It was just
so weird they did
guy.
that.
Which I just think that's a fun fact. I know I mentioned it earlier, but this movie does like the Isabella, the actress, ending up as Dora is like the least surprising thing I can imagine because she did Nickelodeon. She was something Nickelodeon around the time.
Yeah, she wasn't bad. She was actually in another Mark Wahlberg movie released the year after, which I have seen, called Instant Family. It's a movie where Mark Wahlberg and his wife in the movie adopt her and like two other kids.
I've seen trailers for that.
It's not terrible. It's a very average family movie with like some like pretty like weird like unfamily jokes in it. Like it definitely feels like a movie that Mark Wahlberg kind of made like out of the goodness of his heart, i.e. Father Stu or Joe Bell. But like it's definitely better than those two movies. So yeah, if you want to get more Mark Wahlberg, Isabella Marisad action, watch Instant Family.
Oh boy. Another thing about, I guess, Nitro, just the Nitro facts section, is with the mention that Cogman is apparently a headmaster. The only point made of him was a little minifigure that became the character from the movie, scaled roughly to what a guy would be, and the Aston Martin that him and Hopkins take in the first chase scene. But it became a robot body. And the minifigure became the head, which implies that was supposed to happen. And corroborating reports that before Nitro Zeus was just randomly killed in like a random, like just completely blink and you'll miss it scene in the finale, that Cogman was supposed to commandeer his body. The Nitro Zeus toy had a detachable head with no extra gimmick. The implication being that you're supposed to get the Cogman toy and the Nitro toy and put his head on like would have happened in the movie, but it didn't happen. So we have an inaccurate toy and a toy that its head doesn't fucking stay on.
Man,
I think is quite amusing. Also, fun fact about characters and whatnot: Crosshair, didn't tell, is a different car in this movie.
Oh, is it?
Slightly different Corvette, same colors, different look to it. Wouldn't have guessed. Obviously, Drift doesn't turn into a helicopter. Hound looks the same in robot mode, but has a different vehicle mode and new paint. Optimus, we noticed this during watching the movie. Optimus Prime starts the movie missing a smokestack, and he just kind of gets it back when Quintessa slaps him. And he had like 5 others to go around, but still very strange.
Yeah, Liz.
And lastly, for the Dinobots, they're seen for like 5 minutes, but they're missing more than half of them. It's the Triceratops and the T-Rex, when there's supposed to be, I guess it is half of them. The Spinosaurus, the Pterodactyl, and the other ones were not in the movie, but they were supposed to be. The other dinosaurs, like Stegosaurus and shit. Just random character facts that I thought were worth mentioning.
But yeah, that was interesting.
I don't know if there's any grandiose way to end this. It's like,
I don't know.
It's an ordeal. It's been an ordeal. Yeah. Watching these movies is a death sentence, especially when you get to 4.
It's just like, I feel so free. It's freeing knowing that I don't have to watch any of these movies again.
But you also have to live with the weight that even though I saw them, most of them in theaters, you didn't. You've seen them as part of this. JT.
Yeah.
So you've now absorbed the quote-unquote content of these quote-unquote movies on your own volition.
Yep.
That will weigh with you forever.
I was the one who decided that this podcast was a good idea, and watching all these movies was a good idea.
And we finished probably the worst of it. At least.
Yeah, I'm a worse person as a result of it, but I'm done with it.
I'm actively stupider.
Yeah.
But we did it.
Any closing thoughts, Matt?
I have had no thoughts upon finishing this movie.
Seriously, that does better than we can. This movie, the 4th movie insults you. This movie literally drains your brain power away. Like Quintessa's taking the fucking staff and taking your brain power away, so the toy sales of this dog shit movie could soar. It's a hell of a series because it ends. The first 3 movies have a dignified, comparative to this, dignified end. Then they're resurrected like some horrific Frankenstein's monster on Bay, where he decides to make everything about the first 3 movies, already pretty shitty, worse. And then they officially end at a 5th, not a 6th entry. No second trilogy conclusion, but a cliffhanger implying that the entire world could have been destroyed had an extra movie come out. And the fact that someone decided that the Transformers movie couldn't end the extinction of the human race made a grave mistake.
It's good. I think that's a good note to end on. Very well said.
I personally think the human race should be extinct or extinguished.
Well, after watching these movies,
maybe the human race will get extinguished in Six Underground, our movie for next week.
Maybe the real extinction level event was the friends we made along the way. Or the COVID we got along the way.
Maybe the real Six Underground were the friends we made along the way.
Yeah. I'm sure that movie will be more enjoyable than Transformers 5. I'm not sure if I'll actually like it, but I'm sure it's probably more enjoyable. And it's also the shortest one since Bad Boys, so thank God for that. Yeah.
That's
so
an ambulance.
Yeah, and I'm so excited for Ambulance. But anyway, thank you guys for listening. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for the continued support from these videos. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Take care, everyone.
Take care, folks.
Take care.